Hey everyone, welcome back to Homestead Corner. Today I want to talk a little bit about this ever increasing inflation. Every time we go to the grocery store, we are seeing more and more inflation. Shrinkflation, all that stuff. I know my son the other day noticed a box of cereal, the kind that he likes. He picked it up and he could not believe how skinny the box was back to front because they still make them just as tall. So when you look at it, it looks the same, but it really isn't the same. It's less and less in the box. And we're seeing lots of that where sizes are decreasing. And I noticed a package of cookies. I hadn't bought them in a while. I think they were Vienna fingers. And we hadn't bought them in quite a long time, and I decided to spring for a pack, and the price has definitely gone up. But when I opened the package, I noticed that the plastic on the ends, there was a good inch of like filler plastic, and then the cookies started. And so there were way less cookies in there than there used to be. I don't remember the exact ounces that they used to be, but you could tell by the way the package looked the same on the outside, but when you opened it up, they used to just start right off with cookies, and now there's like an inch on each end. So we're seeing more and more of that constantly, and we're going to see more of that, and we're going to see more price hikes. This inflation is not going anywhere. It feels like at some points, like the train strike just was averted. They're not going to have the train strike. And I really didn't think they were going to strike this time because it's getting really close to the election. And the government is really willing to just throw money at anything to stop any kind of catastrophe before the election, because they got to have their hope that they're going to remain where they are. So by throwing a couple $1 billion at that will hold that off, and there won't be a train strike right now. But that is going to cause more inflation. They're not stopping on the spending. It just keeps going and going and going, and everything they're doing is just spending more money, which is going to keep continuing on the inflation. And we are just looking at everything we can do to help beat that, especially at the grocery store. The grocery store seems to be the hardest for our family right now because those prices keep increasing. So we are doing everything we can, looking at the sale flyers. So if you're watching those sale flyers, you'll see that chicken, around here anyway, chicken is usually about the cheapest meat. It used to be pork years ago, but now chicken is probably, if you can catch it on sale, is the cheapest meat that we can find. So, stocking up on what we can when it's on sale is the best option for us. Being able to pull from our pantry to supplement our grocery bill is another big one. And we also do reverse meal planning. I know a lot of people plan their meals at the beginning of the week. It does help save tons of money by meal planning. If you plan everything out, do your shopping, and get everything in the house. But we have been doing the reverse meal planning for quite a while, and that really helps us because we buy meat when it's at the cheapest price, and then when I get ready to meal plan, I go with what's already in the house. This is what we're going to eat, and if we can get deals on meat, that's wonderful. We'll get a little extra of that. But that way we're rotating through our stock constantly also. So we'll plan our meals according to what there is already in the house. So I don't have to spend so much when I go to the grocery store, and I can take, an extra $20 and invest it in something that's on sale that I know I'm going to get a good deal on. And right now, all of your squashes and cabbages and all that stuff, those root vegetables, are in season. What a great time to stock up on those if you can dehydrate them or can them or anything like that, to preserve them while they're cheap is the best thing. And you know, our local farm stands, I'm seeing the price come down on certain things because it's in season and they have a good supply of it. Corn, the farm stand that we purchased from, our corn was $5 a dozen, and now it's down to $3 a dozen, which is great. So I can get a little extra corn and preserve that, whether canning it, drying it, freezing it, whatever you have space for. And that definitely helps to stave off that inflation, is buying in season and buying what's on sale. And yeah, we're eating more chicken than we've ever eaten before, but you know, we're still getting it. And once in a while, I have some beef and sausage and things like that in the pantry, so I can pull one of those and, you know, make a meal. So while we are saving as much as we can at the grocery store with those tactics, we definitely are, you know, trying to make sure that we are stocked up on fuel and things like that. While the price is a little bit lower, it's still pretty dang high. And I know a lot of people are, gas is coming down, gas is coming down. Again, the election is coming, the midterms, and the government is still releasing oil from the national oil reserves. We need to remember that. That's going to be happening. There's 90 million barrels from August to October that are being released to help keep the costs down. After that, it's not going to stay down. I mean, they can only run those reserves dry, which is a possibility at the rate they're going. And we've got to understand that this is going to not last. We need to be prepared for when oil and fuel and all that stuff really skyrockets over the winter. And I also think it's really important, if we look at this train strike and what could have happened, literally that could shut almost everything right down if they can't transport goods, if they're not being transported. Our system, our supply chain system is such a mess, and it is so fragile. I mean, one little thing and it can stop all of the deliveries. We need to remember that that's a possibility for that to happen as well. We've got all this stuff going on in this country, and if we're not prepared for a complete meltdown, I think those that aren't prepared are in big trouble, because we really need to be ready for when stuff really goes awry. These are just little things that can turn into huge things, and they can happen at any time. Staying on top of all these issues, I know there is a lot. It's really hard to stay on top of everything because there's so much going on. But just checking in with that stuff, seeing what's happening at least every couple days. We are really trying to do, blackouts on the news and not listen to this stuff, because it really gets old, and it's just getting worse and worse. And we need to make sure that we're focusing on what's important and how we can protect ourselves and our families from all of these issues that are going on. And we need to really focus on that stuff and make sure we're ready for everything that's coming down the road. And that's it for today. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.